Welcome. As you all know, if you've read the story, there's a lot going on between Brook and Gunko, so I just wanted to have a little bit of a rambling session about this. Just talk a little bit about it, and if there's anything you guys want to talk about, then of course just write it in the comments. I always think it's cool seeing those comments. But we know Brook was a part of a battle convoy in the West Blue before he was a pirate. Before he was a part of the Rumbar Pirates specifically. And that was also when he learned his fencing style, which is what he talks about when he's fighting Ryuma back in Through the Bark. And of course, as seen at the end of chapter 1149, we do see a little bit of a flashback between Gunko and Brook. And it's a younger Gunko with a alive Brook, and she's screaming out for dad. Now, I don't think Brook is the dad. I think Gunko is probably a princess. We do know from the latest SBS that she is actually a part of the Man-Mayor family, and one of those were also at God Valley. And this makes it very interesting because how did Brook know her? And a lot of people have speculated that Brook was kind of like a Pell, kind of like a right-hand man of that certain kingdom that he lived in, which I think is very plausible. But then again, like how was he so close to Gunko? And he also knows who the God's Knights are, right? Because we see that in Elbaf when Gunko appears in front of him on the boat. There is also him probably having visited a reverie, and that might be how. Maybe that's how he gets introduced to Gunko as well. Maybe they didn't know each other for that long, right? Perhaps something very tragic happens up there, or maybe the Rumbar pirates were kind of like the defense for that certain kingdom when they traveled to Reverie, because we see that for the other kingdoms. Obviously, they have the navy, but also Gunko is apparently very old because she was a little girl when Brook was alive, and Brook was alive over 90 years ago. So she has to be very old. There of course is the possibility of her age being frozen, like we see with the Gorosei. We don't know the whole deal about that, but we can assume their ages are frozen, just because of how they look like 200 years ago and all that. But I do think that is going to be something with Emu, right? Probably also linked to how Emu can take over her body. You of course see Brook remembering her. I don't think this means that much. I mean, Brook is very old, right? So it makes complete sense. Even if he knew Gunko for a while, for a long time, I think it makes a lot of sense for him to maybe not remember her immediately. But I do think if, like I said, they didn't know each other for that long, maybe they were at the reverie and that's how they got close, right? Maybe that's why he didn't remember her, because it was kind of just like because the reveries, they were like a month or 2 weeks or something like that. So if they didn't know each other for that long, that could also make sense, of course. I want to talk a little bit about what we could possibly see in the future. I think obviously them meeting, I don't know if they're gonna fight, and I do not know if this is going to be Brook's endgame fight with the world government, if it's gonna be Gunko, and that's what Oda is setting up for him. Maybe kind of get that for all the strides, something that can tie them to the world government. But I would really like to see a scene where Brook plays some music for Gunko. It doesn't have to be Pink Sake, it could be New World, because as we know, she does like that song and she listens to it. She even did it in Elbaf, right? It could kind of mirror the scene where Brook, make a mirror multiple scenes. It could be a mirror of his flashback when he stores it in the shell, the one he's going to show to the Lagoon. It could also mirror the scene where he plays it for Luffy and the others at the end of the Bark. I think that could be such a good scene, because a lot of Brook's scenes, a lot of his really great scenes are with music. And I think that's so awesome. it could be an entirely new song as well. I think we're gonna get a little bit more of this dynamic in Elbaf. But I think Oda is just setting this up for something to happen later. Perhaps we beat Gunko / Imu. Imu goes away, and then maybe Gunko is left behind, right? And that's how we get more of that. Or they leave, and we get more of it later. But I really do want to find out more about this, and more about her backstory, her history with Brook, because I think it's so interesting, especially because of the information in the SBS that she's a man-mayor, because I think everyone thought that she probably was just recruited, right? Like what they were going to do with Loki. But man, I just can't wait to see what's going to happen. What do you guys think? Is there anything you want to see play out? Is there a scene you have in mind that you want to see? Anything like that? Leave a like as well, of course, if you want to. But yeah, have a great day. Have an awesome day. Goodbye.